Welcome back to my channel, Homebodies. My name's Amy. This is my channel, Catskill Mountain Homebody. All right, we're doing a recipe video today. Oh, look who's here. Say hi, Chippy. Hi, Chippy. Hi. Hi. You want to say hi? I know you do. Chipper's pushing me over. All right, it's dinner time in the Catskills. What are we going to make for dinner? Well, yesterday I went out to the store and I bought the ingredients for what I refer to as deconstructed egg rolls, beef egg rolls. And I actually got this recipe from Pinterest. I will put the link to the Pinterest recipe in the description of this video. They don't call it deconstructed egg rolls. That's my invented name. But this is pretty much egg roll, what's inside an egg roll, but we're not going to actually wrap it in an egg roll wrapper. Instead, I'm going to make the ingredients for the egg roll with ground beef. And we're going to serve it with a side of rice that I'm going to make with green onions. So it's kind of like a deconstructed egg roll. That's what we're making for dinner. And it's not a very tough recipe. Let me show you my ingredients. I'm going to put the recipe for the rice and the beef egg roll in the description of the video, but we're going to need some white rice. I keep my white rice in this container. We're going to need about 4 tablespoons of butter to cook the rice in, and some chicken broth. So we're going to need a little bit more than 2 cups of chicken broth. So I have 2 cans out. I don't know if I'm going to need both cans. I might not need both cans. All right, so instead of buying a cut cabbage and carrot and shredding it, I just bought this old-fashioned coleslaw mix from Fresh Express. I'm going to use both bags of this because you need a lot of cabbage. It's going to cook down. So we're going to do that for the inside of the egg roll. We're going to need some soy sauce. I use low sodium soy sauce, some toasted sesame oil, some vegetable oil, and I bought a pound of ground beef. I bought 85% lean ground beef. It's a little bit more than a pound. As far as veggies, other than the cabbage, I have a red onion, I have some fresh ginger, and some garlic, and then the green onions I'm going to be putting in the rice. So that's the veggies. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mince some garlic, and we're going to chop up some of the red onion. And the green onion I'm going to be using for the rice, which we're going to do a little later. We're going to start with the beef egg roll mixture first. So let's start chopping. I'm going to use the cutting board Joe made me to chop up some of these vegetables. The ginger we're going to mince. Actually, I'm going to grate the ginger. We'll do that later. rice. We're going to need a pot with a tight lid, 2½ cups of chicken broth. I used low sodium, 1½ cups of long grain rice. We're going to need a tablespoon of butter that we're going to put into the saucepan. I have minced up some garlic and some green onions. We're going to saute the onions and garlic in the butter, and then we're going to add the broth and the rice. All right, so first, by the way, my beef and my onions are browning in a large frying pan. And you need a large frying pan because you're going to have to cook the cabbage and the carrots in here also. But we're not going to add the cabbage until all of the ground beef is browned. So it's not quite there yet. Plus we want the onions to be softened. Now I'm going to put the back burner on medium. And we're going to melt that butter. And then when the butter's melted, we're going to add the garlic and the onions to the rice. You can use a meat chopper for this. I'm just using my bamboo stir fry tool. If you have a meat chopper, you could feel free to use it. We're not going to drain the ground beef, by the way. We're going to use that fat in there to wilt the cabbage. This is a delicious meal. I've made it many times. It's a hit in our family. I like this recipe because the sauce is fresh. You know, we're using fresh ginger, fresh garlic, and then it has some oils and some soy sauce. But it's a very easy recipe, and making rice is very easy also. We're going to be boiling the rice while we put together this cabbage beef meal. By the way, if you don't like ground beef, you can use ground chicken, ground pork, or you could even do this with shrimp. Cook the shrimp, saute the shrimp with the onions, and then put the rest in. But we like it with the ground beef. I've made it with the ground beef since day one. We like it. We're sticking with the ground beef. You could even omit the meat and just make this with the cabbage and the vegetables. All right, so this is coming along, but there's still a little bit of red in the ground beef, and we don't want that. So we're just going to keep sauteing it a little bit longer. I have it on medium heat. And in a minute, we're going to add the cabbage to this. In the meantime, my butter is melting. So I'm going to add the garlic and onions to my rice butter. Just mix that around a little. Get the butter fat on all of the vegetables. We're just going to saute that for a few minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
Okay. I think 3 minutes is going to be good. I think 3 minutes is going to be enough for the garlic and the onion. All right. So you see how all of the red is gone here? We're going to add the 2 packages of cabbage to this now, and we're going to wilt it down. Okay, our timer went off on our onions. I'm just going to give that a little stir, and we're going to add the chicken broth to the rice pot now. We're going to let that come to a boil, and then we're going to add the rice. In the meantime, I'm going to carefully stir my cabbage with my ground beef, and it's making a mess. Big mess. So we're going to do it gentle and slow. And again, this cabbage is going to cook down, so it won't be as tall as it is right now. But you're going to want to do this gradually and slowly so that you can incorporate the beef with the cabbage. Now, if you don't want to use the coleslaw mix, you're going to need an entire head of cabbage that you're going to shred yourself. But if you want to save yourself time, use the coleslaw mix. It already has the carrot shredded in it, so then you won't need to shred the carrot. And you won't need to bother shredding the cabbage. Why shred the cabbage if you can buy it already shredded? Of course, you pay for that convenience. And normally I do buy a whole cabbage. So usually I do the labor for this recipe. However, when I went to the grocery store yesterday, for some reason I couldn't find any cabbage. I don't know if it's not in season now or if it was hidden somewhere in my grocery store. So without wasting time, I said, you know what, I'm going to get 2 bags of coleslaw mix and call it a day. All right, I've already made my sauce that's going to go over the cabbage and beef. Again, this is fresh garlic, fresh ginger, a little bit of oils, and soy sauce. All right, is my chicken broth boiling yet? The answer is not quite yet. Let's give it a stir. Not quite boiling yet. All right, we're gonna keep cooking down this cabbage. You can already tell it's wilted down already. And then we're gonna add our sauce to the top of this in a minute. All right, it's the next day. For some reason, my GoPro has been losing part of my videos. So what I filmed yesterday in terms of like finishing up cooking, I don't have. A quick wrap up of the meal. So once that chicken broth was boiling with the onions and garlic, I added the rice, covered it with a tight lid, and let that simmer for 15 minutes. And then it was done. So that's how I finished up the rice. For the ground beef and the cabbage, I added the sauce that I pre-made. I cooked it another 5 minutes, and pretty much dinner was almost done by the time my video stopped filming. So I do have footage of the finished plate, which I will show you in a minute. But before I do that, thank you so much for joining me today for this deconstructed egg roll recipe and rice. I hope that you guys try it and enjoy it. If you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel, Catskill Mountain Homebody. And I hope that you all are enjoying the spring weather, if it's spring where you are. Chipper says hello. God forbid he should not say hi. You gonna say hi to everybody? Say hi, everybody. Stay tuned for the finished plate, and I'll see you guys on my next video.